Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deanna Mate. Last week, we learned about the OSSAA Executive Director David Jackson's background. This week, we talk about current events, the pandemic, the racist incident that happened at the basketball state championship tournament, and the future of high school activities in Oklahoma. Now that the position that you're in right now and the role that you're in currently at the OSSAA, what about that job makes you, want to continue to do it? Like, what's your favorite part? If strategizing as a coach, football and basketball and track wise is one of the things that you enjoy most, what about the job that you do right now that wakes you up in the morning?
As a coach, you're strategizing, you're putting in all that time so that your team can win. In this role, we're still talking about individuals and activities, but winning for us is providing safe activities for kids to get involved in, and we see it as a win when we see a large number of kids participating in activities. So that competitive nature that goes with coaching to get to win that game is still a part of what we do here, to do everything we can to create opportunities for large number of kids to participate in activities and to create those experiences for them, that when they leave high school, they can look back with fond memories of those activities they participated in, to engage with their friends, to feed that competitive nature that they have, and more than anything else, is to have fun. That's what they're going to remember, that if they leave high school and they enjoyed their activities, and they were able to take away all the things that you gain from participating in activity, being part of a team, having to learn to work together with all kinds of people that may not look like you or think like you. Those things that you have to do to develop character, all of that is going to serve those students well, whether they go on and participate in activities beyond high school. All those things are going to serve them well in whatever they do. And that's that motivating force for us, is how can we enhance what we do to help those students come away with those things once they leave high school.
So if getting a high number of students to participate in athletics and get them to, get out there on the field and be active and achieve and gain success is one of the best parts of the job, and is getting a win for the OSSAA, then the last couple of years have probably been a rough time for you guys, especially in 2020, where some seasons were canceled. So, how did that go about for you guys over there, in your opinion, in your mind, and with your, being in the thick of things over there?
Deanna, I can tell you that when this all started, that it was definitely the low point for a lot of us here in our careers, because as you mentioned, those things that we do exist for, to provide those opportunities for those students, were lost. Starting with last spring, when we had to cancel our state championship basketball tournament, even though we felt like with the information that we had, we didn't have much of a choice, it still was, it was devastating for us, because it was devastating to those students who wouldn't have that chance. We talk about all the time here that at that time we had to cancel basketball. there were 5 schools who had made it to the state basketball tournament for the first time in school history. They didn't get to participate. There were seniors playing in or going to have that opportunity to participate in the state basketball tournament that missed that opportunity. And we move into the spring activities and the same type of scenario. Didn't get to have theirs at all in the spring. So you think about the seniors who have come to their final year and they didn't get to have those activities. So it was without a doubt a very low time for us. And for me personally, it's the type of thing that keeps you up at night, knowing that, again, our organization exists so that students can have their activities, and now they weren't going to have them.
One of the toughest decisions of David's career was delaying and canceling the 2020 2A through 6A basketball championships. He was determined to make sure those tournaments could happen in 2021. Ford High School Weekly will be right back. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with OSSAA Executive Director David Jackson.
So kind of take us back to the day. I mean, I remember, everybody kind of remembers how they found out that, you know, the state basketball championship tournament was canceled. So the day of, being in that room, trying to make that decision of whether you should, you know, make some changes, do this, change the location, separate the teams. What went down to saying, no, we can't do it, let's cancel it? Like, what was the conversation like in the room amongst you guys?
We had gotten a call around 10 o'clock that morning that because of what had happened with Rudy Gobert and being diagnosed with COVID, and the Thunder and the Jazz game being canceled, that could have an impact on us. And at that time, we didn't know why, but it wasn't 15 minutes later, we find out that some people who was exposed to Mr. Gobert had also exposed some of our high school students the day before in a practice session. And that team was also in the state tournament. As a matter of fact, both boys and girls teams were in the state tournament, had already left to get to their venue for that day. And because of that exposure, and at that time, we knew that the exposure had made it to that particular school, but those students also went out and were exposed to other people. So at that time, we didn't know the extent of how many people may have been exposed. And so we felt like we had no other choice that morning but to cancel our state tournament, because again, it was so new. The information about COVID was so new, and how it could be spread and how dangerous it could be for anyone who might have been exposed, that we felt like we had no other choice but that morning to stop the tournament. So we had to call people who were, again, en route to different venues. Some people had already arrived at those venues. But we came together, the staff, we talked to our board, and again, we felt like we had no other choice but to bring it to an end before it started.
So to bring it full circle, this year when you guys were able to put on the state championship basketball tournament, what was the feeling like, and what was it like in your shoes, where you were allowing some kids who, were looking so forward to it last year, to let them back in the gym and kind of, figure it all out on the hardwood?
I tell you, it was almost euphoria for us that kids are getting to play. And we felt that way because we saw that in the students and the coaches and the schools and the administrators. They were being able to have their activities. I don't know that that we as adults fully understand what that means for the students to be able to have their activities. I think it's something that a lot of us, a lot of people learned over the last 13 months that is taken for granted a lot. You know, like so many things, we don't realize how important they are until they're taken away from us. So to see the how excited that everyone involved, students, parents, coaches, administrators, how excited they were to be able to have their activities again, absolutely thrilled us. Now we had to do early on. We had to limit the number of fans and that came into the venues, and that again, we were willing to have our activities in empty venues if it called for that, but we were able to have them with limited capacities, which again was great. We love to be able and look forward to getting back to full capacity in our activities, in our championships, especially because that is so much a part of the high school experience. Is not only playing in the contest, but having that support of family and friends in the stands. So being able to get back was absolutely exciting. What's even more exciting is being able to get back with a full capacity, full field gym and other venues as we go forward.
We'll have more with the Executive Director of the OSSAA, David Jackson, after this. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with OSSAA Executive Director, David Jackson.
State tournament, there were some unfortunate incidents that did take place with the Norman girls basketball team and things said by some announcers. I know that was a very, very hard thing for the OSSAA to deal with, but what kind of, lessons was learned and how did you guys approach that situation for everybody to, be aware of?
The tough part is those students had to experience something like that. It's going to happen in their lives. They're going to experience people that do and say things like this probably for the rest of their lives. We try to shelter that. We try to keep that from them when they're involved in something that should be one of the highlights of their lives. We talked a little bit earlier. We want all of our students to be able to look back on their experience in high school with nothing but fond memories. Unfortunately, comments made by an adult is going to taint that for a lot of people, and we hate that. I think what we all learn is that there are going to be people who think differently than we do, and I don't know that we necessarily brace ourselves to look for it or to be ready for it. We certainly don't want to live that way, but I don't know that we can always be surprised that we encounter people like that.
You're definitely right about that. And me and you had a chance to speak at the tournament, especially the last day where, championships were being won and the Norman girls did prevail and reach that gold ball stature. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask you that day that I didn't get a chance to was, how did that incident affect you personally?
It had a great impact on me. And to be honest with you, when I first heard it, when I first saw the actual clip, I was so personally offended that I had to step back and regroup, understanding that my reaction cannot be that of David Jackson's personal feelings. I had to understand my position as the executive director of the OSSAA and respond appropriately as such. And and I have to be honest with you, the two reactions would have been quite different. I was so personally offended when I first heard this that I probably would have responded in a way that wasn't appropriate. But that's, again, just like we want it from the students and everyone else involved, we wanted to regroup and find a way to manage that situation in both a professional and an appropriate manner. And that's what, after thinking about it, thinking about that time and what happened at that time, I'm glad that I was able to step back and look at that big picture. And the first thing is to reach out to those students who were personally impacted by that. The initial response wanted to be aimed at the person who offended. But what was most important to me, what came to be most important, was how can we help those students who were impacted? How can we help them the most?
We'll talk to David Jackson about the future of high school activities. Let me give you a clue though. He says the future is bright. When Ford High School Weekly continues. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with OSSAA Executive Director David Jackson.
As far as, after everything we've been through in 2020 and with high school athletics and everything it's been through, what do you think the future looks like for high school athletics?
Dion, it's high school activities to me is still the purest form of activities and athletics, and I think the future is extremely bright as we look to add activities to engage more students. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to add to our list of activities that might garner some kids that might not be doing anything right now in high school. But one of the things that makes me think that high school activities are just going to continue to grow and get better is the fact that, again, it's still the purest form of activities. And I see and I hear people get, for lack of a better term, kind of disenfranchised with the other levels. The professional level and the college level are becoming so, I don't know if commercialized. They've always been commercialized, but the business component of those other levels, I think take people away from those levels some. And in high school, where money is not involved, I think people enjoy watching students participate because they just love the game, and that's what's exciting for us in this office, is that we can still provide those opportunities for those students to participate simply because they love to participate. Now, we'll celebrate those students who can go on and participate at the next level. We love seeing that. But, for the most part, probably 95% of the students that participate in high school, they're not going to. They're not going to go on and participate. So their memories of activities are going to stop when they finish high school. So we want to make that as good as we can for them during that time. And we think that people enjoy that. They enjoy watching those students who know that they're not going any further than the high school level, but they're gonna go play and participate in sports and other activities and give it everything they got, and not worry about how much they're going to get paid, you know, and that's refreshing for us, and we think that's what is important to a lot of people who just love high school activities.
Well, we here at YurView really love high school activities, and we appreciate everything that you personally and the guys over there at the OSSAA have been doing to put these things on and allow athletes and ourselves to have the platform to showcase their abilities and everything that they do and try to achieve. So thank you so much for all that you do, and I appreciate you joining us here today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, Dion, thank you very much. I appreciate you and what you all do there. And I hope that anytime that we can be of assistance to you all, that you reach out to us.
And vice versa. Anything you guys need, just let us know, and we're here to help.
Okay. Appreciate that.
3 seconds. 2 seconds at the buzzer on the way. That's good.
Be sure to go to yourview.com/OK for highlights and replays of the Ford Game of the Week. And check out our podcast and past episodes at yourview.com/OK.
Only the best in Oklahoma, like David Jackson, make the Ford High School Weekly. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Dion Amade.